What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk about the newest iPod Touch 7th generation, which was just released by Apple only a few days ago, so late May of 2019, and is very new on the market. Now, this brand new product has a lot actually to talk about here as to why Apple might have done this, who's going to buy an iPod, and a lot more than that. So stick around for this video. Let's roll the intro. Wait, hold up. Wait, let's go back. Was that the iPod 6? Was that the iPod 6 right there? That was definitely the 6, right? That's not the 7th one. 7th one's not going to look like that. No. So guys, when this first came out, when I first heard the news that there was a new iPod generation coming out, I got excited at first, then I got confused. So I was excited because I thought, hey, maybe they're going to come out with something like the iPhone 10, but they're going to trim it down so you don't have, $1,000 worth of product. If they cut it down to, $200 or $300, maybe you get a nice camera, maybe you get to use, the new iOS, maybe they have, a lot of what the iPhone 10 has, but just, cut out some of the really expensive premium stuff. Then I was confused because I thought, wait a minute, even if they did that, who would buy that? Who's going to use an iPod in 2019 or 2020 when you can just instead get a phone that's fairly cheap and does almost everything that an iPod does anyway? So a little bit confused there. So before we get any farther in this video, I want to say, if you're new here, I'm Mike O'Brien. This is my tech channel. I'm releasing videos every single week about the newest tech, what's on the market, what kind of products there are available, as well as some apps. So if you're interested in tech or apps and you want to know what the newest and latest stuff is, definitely go down and click the subscribe button and make sure you click the bell icon, because YouTube will not notify you when I put videos out unless you click the bell icon. If you want to know about the newest tech, you got to click that. So is this like a prank or something? Are YouTubers just making this up? Is there actually an iPod 7th generation that looks just like the 6th generation? Let's go over to the Apple website to figure it out once and for all. So right here, you'll see it says the new iPod Touch. This is the newest. This is according to Apple's website right now, and it is in fact the 7th generation. So it is all true, everything that you've been hearing. There really is a 7th generation iPod Touch that is the same as the 6th generation, except for the processor and a few other things like that. So they use the exact same mechanical design for the most part as the iPod 6th generation. So this is almost the same as the iPod Touch 6th generation, and then really all they did was add a little bit more RAM, and then they went and they plugged in an A10 Fusion processor, which honestly isn't even the top of the line processor for Apple anymore. So keep in mind, this is not the one that the newest iPhone uses. This is the one they put into the iPhone 7. So this is really, a lot of articles you see out there is they just released a new iPod, is what people say, that uses the slowest processor that Apple currently sells. And that's exactly what it is. So the A10 processor came out with the iPhone 7, and it's not even new anymore. But regardless, it is a lot faster than the old iPods. So if you're somebody who really wants to use an iPod and you just really like this for one of the many reasons I think I'll mention later on in this video, then maybe it's not a bad product. But I also want to talk about what you can do with that money instead of buying this. But first, let's talk about the different specs about this. So like I said, you still have the aluminum body, you still have the 4-inch screen right here. Admittedly, this is an iPod 5th generation, but the mechanical specs on this, again, are almost the same. It's the same dimensions on this. They just have that little extra lanyard thing that nobody used anyway. But on the iPod 7th generation, you have the 1.2 megapixel camera on the front, which is very, very weak. But I guess if you're just FaceTiming and they want to get the general shape of, your head, whether that is looking like some kind of potato-like thing or whatever, but you get the general idea if you're FaceTiming. 1.2 megapixels is decent for that. And then on the back, you have the 8 megapixel camera. Overall, you're going to have a flash right there. You have one speaker on the bottom. You have your typical Apple charging port there. And then you also have a headphone jack. So this is one benefit right here. If you're somebody who, maybe you don't want an iPhone SE or the, one of the older iPhones, maybe instead, if you really want something new that runs iOS 12 and 13, and it's a fresh product from Apple, and still has the iPhone, the headphone jack right there, maybe this is something you want. So maybe if you don't like dongles and you want something in your car, or honestly, this is really small compared to, so let's just give you an example right here. This right here, I have the S10 right here, and we have the same dimensions as the 7 right here, and you can see right there how incredibly small that is in comparison. Now, when this first came out, it seemed big, but now obviously it's very small with a very large bezel. So with that in mind, if you like to go for runs, and honestly, I run quite a bit, and it really is annoying to carry this around all the time when I'm running. So you can get like an arm thing and just kind of carry it on your arm right there. It's light and small, so that's one use I can see for this. Also, the other difference about this compared to the old iPod Touch being the 6th generation is the 7th generation actually has, slightly more memory available. So the prices of this, you start off with 32 gigabytes, which is the lowest one, which is higher than the lowest one for the 6th generation, but it's going to be $199 for 32 gigabytes. That's really the only one I could ever see anybody buying. So if you upgrade $100 more, you get 128 gigabytes, which is a lot of memory, but I don't really see why you would want to use that on an iPod Touch anyway. You're going to have 128 gigabytes worth of movies. Are you going to watch movies on here? Are you 128 gigabytes worth of songs? Probably not. Or is it going to be like 128 gigabytes worth of recording, video? I really don't think you would be recording. That would be hundreds and hundreds of hours being recorded on this. And again, it's only an 8 megapixel 1080p camera. I don't really think you're going to be shooting the next movie on this one. Now, of course, if you want to go another $100, so $400, you get 256 gigabytes. Now, again, why do you need a quarter terabyte on something like this? I really don't think anybody's going to be buying that. I think that's going to be, a really low-end seller for this. And plus $400, think about what else you can buy with $400. You can buy the brand new Pixel 3a, which does way more than this does. Now, as you go down, you'll see they give you the classic earbuds right there that do plug in to the actual audio port, the little headphone jack right there. So if you're using a new iPhone and you have these, not compatible. But you can actually use the AirPods on these, which is nice. Of course, it has Bluetooth, which makes sense. And as you go down, they have the same 6 colors that you had on the other one. They say it's more powerful, and that's because, 2 times faster is what they're saying for the processor, 3 times faster for the graphics. That's because they put the A10 Fusion chip in there, which, as I said before, is not even that impressive. That's only the one that they put in the iPhone 7th generation. So it's really not the newest one they have in the iPhone 10 or, any of the recent ones like that. So as we're going down, they still have a 4-inch display with a really chunky bezel right there, which is a little bit, a little deterring because this is 2019 and we have a giant bezel. So just something that's a little bit strange. I guess I don't know why they didn't trim that down, probably just to save and cut costs on, manufacturing. So Apple Arcade is coming out, and that's something that you can be using on here, as well as Apple TV Plus. I don't think they mentioned that on their website, but when that comes out in the end of summer, you will be able to get it on here. Again, I don't know if you're really going to be watching a lot of shows and movies on this because it is so small. Because you have the newest chip in here, you can use the augmented reality, and you can use group FaceTime. Those are 2 big things that they're really pushing on this, and that's one of the reasons I could see this actually being useful for somebody is, for example, I use Android on my S10 right here, and I have a lot of friends that use Apple. So if I had an iPod and I could do group FaceTime with people, it might not be a bad thing to leave kicking around. And likewise, I can use, maybe Messenger on there so I can talk to other, Apple friends without jacking up all the different group messages. So that's one maybe small bonus. So continuing on the website, you see right there, it says iOS 12 is what it has right now. Of course, iOS 13 is coming out. But, if this only has an A10 processor in it, and they're all the way up way past that with the new iPhone, how much longer is this actually going to be supported? That's a big question to consider. Is this going to be obsolete in like a year? So as you go down here, it says it goes with everything. Literally, just because it has Bluetooth, it works with these, which makes perfect sense. And other than that, there's really not a whole lot that they show here. If you go into technical specs, it literally shows you almost exactly the same specs as the iPhone 6. So the iPod Touch 7 is not going to have facial recognition. It's not going to have, Touch ID for the mechanical home button, which is going to be there. You're not going to have Touch ID right there. And so because of that, you're not going to be using Apple Pay on this. It's not going to be anywhere near the other products as far as flagship features go. You're not going to have the newest camera package in there. Overall, it's just, I think, an underwhelming release from Apple. So I think is not really that impressive. If you agree with me, let me know down in the comments down below if you think this is true. And, click the like button to vote if you think that, like if you say that this product is an underwhelming release. And dislike if you're super excited about this. I don't think many people will be super excited about this, but nonetheless, I want to know from you guys, not to keep bashing on this, but the display on this is going to be 640 by 1136, which is the same as the old iPod. You're also not going to have, Touch ID on the home button, which it is a mechanical home button. And on top of that, you're also not going to have facial recognition, so no Apple Pay on this, which is unfortunate. And of course, you're not going to have, 4G on this, so maybe Apple Pay is not a great thing to have anyway. But regardless, what is actually the overall conclusion on this one? I think that Apple kind of dropped the ball with this release. It seems like it might have been a little bit of a money grab where they didn't want to change their manufacturing process and they wanted to keep collecting money on this and keep it a relevant product, even though I'm sure not that many people buy this. It must be a relatively low volume for them. So I think that's why they did that. I don't know why they didn't just terminate the whole iPod Touch line, but if you are somebody that really likes an iPod and you want to keep it relevant, you want to keep getting the updates on it, then this is the thing for you right here, where you can use this. It's great if you want to go for a run, like I said before, and you want to, have it wear it on your arm. It's very light and small. Maybe if you want to keep it in your car, it just has something to listen to music on long road trips. It has a relatively small battery in it, only about it's less than 2,000 milliamp hours, so you're not going to be lasting that long. So you guys, that's what I have to say about the Apple iPod Touch 7th generation. So if you agree with me that this is something of an underwhelming product, please go down and click the like button and comment down below if you have any other opinions of this. Why do you think Apple released this? I want to know, in your opinion, why did Apple release the newest iPod Touch 7th generation, and will you be buying it? That's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.